Chapter 5. Saturday morning. Lacy stirred uncomfortably, her body twisted in the sheets. Even before she opened her eyes, something felt off. There was a strange heaviness in the air, a subtle wrongness that made her skin prickle. Yawning, she sat up, rubbing the sleep from her eyes. That was when she noticed it, something on her desk. A single piece of paper that hadn't been there last night. Her stomach tightened. Slowly, she swung her legs over the side of the bed, standing on shaky feet as she approached the desk. Her fingers trembled as she picked up the note. The message was formed from cut-out letters, the kind you'd see in a horror movie. If you and your friends don't want your secrets exposed, including your dates, watch your backs. Lacy's breath hitched. "What the hell?" she whispered, the words barely escaping her lips. Her heart pounded as a wave of fear crawled up her spine. Who would do this? Who even knew about their secrets? A sharp chill ran through her. She needed to tell the others, now. Snatching her phone, she typed with frantic urgency. Emergency. Meet up ASAP. She barely registered the sound of her own breath, unsteady and shallow as she hit send. Lacy stood in the campus quad, the weight of the ominous letter still pressing heavily on her mind. She glanced around at her friends, their faces mirroring the unease she felt. Suki stood beside her, awkwardly scratching her arm, while Rem crossed their arms, looking both tense and concerned. Tegan shifted her weight from one foot to the other, her brows furrowed in contemplation. Across from them, the others stood in a separate cluster, Hayes with his arms crossed in thought, Kip looking restless, Chase appearing particularly serious, and Paris glaring as though she was ready to fight someone. After reading the letter aloud, the group had gone quiet, each absorbing the threat for themselves. "This is bullying, Lacy," Rem finally spoke, their voice edged with frustration. "Someone is targeting you and even threatening us." Tegan tilted her head, considering something. "Do you think it could be one of your exes? Maybe they saw you with Suki and got jealous." Lacy frowned. "I'm not sure. That could be a possibility. But I had amicable breakups, so I never thought there was a concern, especially at this level." Suki, who had been silent until now, clenched her fists. "Whoever it is, they clearly want to scare you. And I don't like that." Across from them, Kip scoffed. "If they think they can intimidate you, they've got another thing coming." Chase, ever the rational one, rubbed his chin. "We just need to figure out who benefits from doing this. Someone with a grudge or a twisted sense of humor." Lacy exhaled, trying to remain calm. "I have a feeling we need to be vigilant about this and wait to see if this is just some twisted dare prank from a random student or something more sinister." Paris folded her arms. "Maybe we should report this, just in case." Hayes, however, shook his head. "I have a feeling that would escalate things." Silence fell over the group as they each got lost in their own thoughts, uncertainty settling over them like a dark cloud. The weight of the situation loomed, leaving them all restless. Then, Hayes suddenly let out a chuckle, breaking the tension. "Okay, before we all spiral into detective mode, how about this? Let's go on a mini glamping trip tomorrow." Tegan's eyes widened in surprise, while Lacy lit up at the suggestion. Rem seemed intrigued, and Suki's cheeks flushed slightly. Hayes smirked. "Think about it. We're all paired up here. A full-on group date in nature." Paris grinned. "I love this idea. Aesthetic vibes, here we come." Kip raised a hand. "I'll bring snacks. I refuse to starve." Chase, however, arched a brow. "Nature? Outdoors? Are there cabins? Or am I expected to sleep in a tent like a savage?" Tegan smirked. "Tents. Welcome to the wilderness, city boy." Suki clapped her hands together, her excitement returning. "I'd love to go. It sounds fun." Rem nodded in agreement. "Count me in. We could all use a break from the stress." Lacy smiled at the group. "Then it's settled. Tomorrow we're going glamping." Despite the unsettling threat lingering in the back of their minds, excitement buzzed through the group at the thought of their mini glamping road trip. For now, with Saturday stretching ahead of them, each couple decided to spend the day together, making the most of their time. Lacy's heart fluttered with anticipation as she spotted Suki approaching across the campus quad. The sun cast a warm glow over the stone pathways, and a gentle breeze stirred the autumn leaves around their feet. "So, we're going on a date today?" Lacy asked with a teasing smile as they met in the middle. "Where are we going?" Suki's lips curled into a sly grin, her eyes twinkling with mischief. "That's for me to know and for you to find out." Lacy folded her arms, tilting her head with playful suspicion. "Oh, so you're keeping me in suspense now?" "Let's just say I like to keep things interesting." Suki leaned in slightly, her voice laced with intrigue. Then, with a wink, she motioned for Lacy to follow. "Now come on. Trust me." Excitement bubbled in Lacy's chest as she fell into step beside Suki, curiosity growing with every step. The hum of the train station buzzed in the air as the two arrived, dressed for the day ahead. Lacy glanced around, the sound of distant announcements and the rhythmic clatter of train wheels filling the space. "So we're taking a train?" she asked, arching a brow. "Now I'm really curious." Suki smirked, her confidence unwavering. "You'll love it, I promise. Just trust me, okay?" Lacy let out an exaggerated sigh, arms crossed as she gave Suki a knowing look. I suppose I could put my trust in a gorgeous alien princess just this once." Suki giggled, the sound light and melodic. "Oh, you flatter me, darling." She flipped her hair dramatically before taking Lacy's hand. "Now let's go." With that, the adventure began. The park was quiet, the afternoon sun casting a golden hue over the grass as a soft breeze rustled the leaves. Lacy walked beside Suki, curiosity bubbling inside her as they approached a secluded spot. But as soon as she saw it, the perfectly arranged picnic blanket, the neatly placed plates, the assortment of pastries, she stopped in her tracks, eyes wide in amazement. "Wait, how is everything still perfectly set up?" she asked, her voice tinged with disbelief. Suki grinned, looking rather pleased with herself. "My straight friend did me a favor. She set it up for me and left once I texted her that we were almost here." Lacy turned to her, her heart doing an unexpected somersault. "I can't believe she went through all this effort just for me. This is so sweet, thoughtful, romantic." She swallowed hard, feeling warmth creep up her neck. "I don't know what I was expecting, but the fact that Suki planned this, she's making my heart do things I wasn't prepared for." And the date had only just begun. They settled onto the picnic blanket, Suki shifting beside her with an easy confidence. Lacy crossed her arms, tilting her head with a smirk. "Okay, be honest. Did you actually set all this up, or did your friend do all the work?" Suki gasped in mock offense. "Excuse you? I did most of the planning. Thank you very much." Lacy arched a brow. Sure. And I suppose you also baked these pastries yourself." "All right, maybe not that part, but I made sure they were the best ones I could find." Suki defended, lifting her chin proudly. Lacy chuckled, shaking her head. "I'm just teasing, you know. This is honestly the sweetest thing anyone's ever done for me." Suki ducked her head slightly, her confident exterior softening. "Well, what can I say? You're worth the effort." Lacy's breath caught. "Okay." That definitely made my heart skip a beat. She lifted her chin, forcing a smirk. "Flirting with me already, huh? You don't waste time." Suki leaned back on her hands, smirking. "I don't see you complaining." Lacy giggled, unable to stop the way her heart fluttered. Fine. I'll admit it. I kinda like it. Just kinda." "Wow, and here I thought I was smooth," Suki said, feigning disappointment. "You'll have to work harder than that to impress me, Suki." Suki's grin widened. "Oh, is that a challenge?" Maybe. All right then. What if I told you I have one more surprise for you? Lacy blinked in surprise. Wait, seriously? You already did all this. What else could there be? Suki shrugged, a playful glint in her eyes. Guess you'll have to wait and see. Lacy huffed, but she couldn't stop the growing anticipation curling inside her. Okay, now I'm really intrigued, and maybe just a little bit more smitten. They began eating, the conversation flowing effortlessly between bites of the delicious pastries. Suki suddenly paused, watching Lacy with a knowing smirk. By the way, you've got a little something on your lip. Lacy's hand flew to her mouth. Wait, what? Where? Before she could react further, Suki leaned in, closing the distance between them in an instant. Her fingertip brushed against Lacy's lip, slow and deliberate. Lacy's breath hitched. Oh, she's close, really close. The scent of vanilla and citrus drifted toward her, subtle but intoxicating. Lacy felt her mind go light, her pulse stumbling as warmth curled in her stomach. Her gaze flickered up to Suki's eyes, mischievous, sparkling, holding a secret meant only for her. Lacy should look away. She should laugh it off, but she didn't. Her attention caught on Suki's lips, cherry-colored, full, way too close. They curved into a smirk, and Lacy wasn't sure if she wanted to kiss it away or fall right into it. She swallowed. I think I might be in trouble. Thanks, she murmured, her voice weaker than she intended. Suki leaned back with a satisfied smile. No problem. But I have to say, pink looks really cute on you. Lacy felt the heat spread across her face, her heart pounding. Okay, now she's just doing this on purpose. And it's working. Suki stretched out, looking relaxed, content. You know, I could get used to this. Lacy cleared her throat. What, teasing me? Suki glanced at her from under long lashes. No, sitting here with you. Lacy inhaled sharply. I swear, if she keeps looking at me like that, I might actually melt. She exhaled, smiling softly. Yeah, me too. The park stretched out before them, bathed in the golden glow of the afternoon sun. A gentle breeze rustled through the trees, sending ripples across the lake's surface. Lacy walked ahead, her steps unhurried, while Suki followed beside her, shifting her weight slightly as she took in the view. It's pretty, isn't it? Suki mused, her voice soft, almost teasing. Lacy exhaled slowly, her gaze lingering on the water. Yeah, breathtaking. Suki's lips curved into a smile, her eyes glinting with something unreadable. Are we talking about the lake or something else? Lacy turned to her, tilting her head playfully. I'll let you decide. Suki pivoted slightly, facing her fully now. A smirk played on her lips as she winked. You're adorable, you know that. Lacy let out a nervous chuckle, rubbing the back of her neck. Well, maybe a little. But you're kind of ruining my reputation here. Oh. Suki arched a brow. And what reputation is that? Lacy smirked. Mysterious. Unreadable. Cool. A light laugh escaped Suki, her fingers absently stroking her lower lip. Oh, babe. You lost at the moment I saw you get cupcake cream on your face. Lacy's face warmed instantly. Can we forget about that? Suki grinned. Not a chance. It was cute. You're cute. Lacy sighed but couldn't help the small smile tugging at her lips. Thank you for today. For all of this. Suki's expression softened. I wanted it to be special. Because you're special to me, Lacy. Oh. Lacy's heart stuttered, something deep within her chest twisting at Suki's words. They wrapped around her like warmth on a cold morning, settling somewhere she hadn't expected. She didn't know what to say, so she let herself feel it. Suki's fingers brushed against the back of Lacy's hand, featherlight, and then she moved closer. The air between them felt charged, electric, yet impossibly soft. Lacy shivered slightly at the warmth of Suki's touch, the contrast of cool air against heated skin. Suki's voice was almost a whisper. "Can I kiss you?" Lacy barely managed a nod before Suki leaned in. The moment their lips met, the world tilted. Suki's lips were soft, warmer than Lacy had expected. The kiss was slow, unhurried, like they were both memorizing the feel of it, committing each delicate movement to memory. There was a faint taste of strawberries, lingering from the cupcake they'd shared earlier, mixed with something else, something undeniably, intoxicatingly. "Suki!" Lacy's skin tingled everywhere Suki touched her. She never wanted this moment to end. As if sensing it, Suki deepened the kiss slightly, her hand sliding up to rest at the nape of Lacy's neck. "Oh, okay. That's really nice." When they finally pulled away, the world felt softer, quieter. Lacy let out a slow breath, her heart hammering against her ribs. Suki smiled, brushing her fingers against her lips. "Wow," she murmured. Lacy exhaled a quiet laugh, cheeks warm. "Yeah, wow." Suki hesitated for just a second before asking, "So, what's the verdict?" Lacy's lips curled into a slow, knowing smile. "Definitely worth the wait." And as she looked at Suki, standing there with the sun casting golden light against her face, Lacy realized something. She had just fallen a little harder for her. The rest of the day passed in a blur of laughter, soft touches, and stolen glances. As the sun set, Suki and Lacy reluctantly said their goodbyes, each heading to their dorms with hearts a little fuller than before. Suki walked through the campus quad, her steps light despite the exhaustion settling in. The warmth of the evening still lingered in her chest, a warmth she knew had nothing to do with the temperature and everything to do with the girl she had just spent the day with. Their first date had been perfect, but then she saw him. A shadow stood beneath the dim campus lights, waiting. Arms crossed, eyes shifting, watching. Suki's breath hitched. Her heart stammered. The same guy from before. Her cousin, Orion. "I can see someone had a nice time with a certain human," he said, his voice smooth yet edged with something unreadable. Suki stiffened at his tone. He wasn't wrong, but the way he said it made her stomach twist. "Please, dear cousin Orion," she pleaded, searching his face for a trace of understanding. "Listen to me with a compassionate heart." Orion's expression didn't waver. "Don't you have a spouse and children?" she asked, desperate to shift the weight of the conversation. "Yes," he admitted, "a wife and an infant son." A flicker of hesitation crossed his face, but it was gone as quickly as it came. Suki swallowed the lump in her throat. "Did you marry her for love or politics?" A pause, a scratch at his temple. Then finally, "We were fortunate enough to marry for love." She let out a slow breath, willing him to see things from her side. "Then you know how I must feel," she said softly. "I am only allowed to marry a certain person to align our kingdoms politically." She exhaled sharply, her fingers curling into fists. "It's not like I can date many princesses and choose. I don't have that luxury. Only one was chosen for her, and they were expected to have children together, even though there was no love between them. The cycle repeats itself, generation after generation," she continued, her voice growing heavier with each word. "Or have your thoughts of honor, responsibility, and family loyalty blinded you?" She stepped closer, forcing him to meet her gaze. "We grew up together, Orion. You know me." He said nothing. "I love adventure and science. I aspired to be among the stars, exploring habitable planets and moons in different galaxies. I always imagined living on different planets for short periods of time. And yet, in just 3 years on Earth, I found true love." She shook her head. "Lacy and I have an unexplainable bond that I want to explore. Can't you just turn a blind eye? Tell them you haven't found me?" Silence. A deep sadness settled in Orion's features, but he remained unmoving. "Please, Orion," she whispered, "don't rob me of my freedom, my expression. all for the sake of politics and nobility. Her voice wavered, but she held firm. A life with no adventure, no love, living monotonously. And even worse, if my mind breaks from it all. Her throat tightened, but she forced herself to say the words that had been weighing on her heart. Please, think about it, Orion. She turned and walked away, her steps slow, heavy. A silent farewell hanging in the air between them. Orion didn't move. He simply stood there, alone beneath the quiet night sky, lost in thought. Chapter 6. The university campus hummed with life, but for Rem and Tegan, the world had shrunk down to just the two of them. After meeting at the Pride Ball, they had finally set a date to meet again. A quiet afternoon walk by the water, the perfect way to ease into something new. Their first date at a beautiful cafe had been lovely, but this felt different. Rem strolled beside Tegan, hands tucked in their pockets, shifting their weight slightly as they walked. Tegan crossed her arms, her gaze flickering toward them with a playful smirk. So, I have to ask, she mused, glancing at them out of the corner of her eye. When you saw me at the Pride Ball, did you plan to bump into me? Rem let out a chuckle. What? You think I orchestrated the entire moment? Tegan narrowed her eyes, feigning suspicion. I mean, considering how smooth your "Hey, we should hang out sometime" was later on. Rem smirked, rubbing the back of their neck. Ah, so now I'm being accused of being too charming. Tegan laughed. I knew it. Their teasing came naturally, effortless and lighthearted. But beneath the humor, there was something warm, something real. Tegan's expression softened as she slowed her pace. I meant it, though. I'm really glad we're doing this. Rem hesitated for a split second, then nodded. Yeah, me too. A thoughtful look crossed Tegan's face. I don't usually do this, first dates. It usually always begins with hookups. I went to the Pride Ball hoping to find a serious date, but... She let out a small laugh. I didn't actually think I'd meet someone worth my time. Rem raised an eyebrow, smirking. Oh, so I should feel special? Tegan shifted slightly, pretending to consider it. I mean, maybe. For a moment, silence settled between them, not the awkward kind, but the comfortable kind, filled only by the gentle sounds of water lapping at the shore and the soft rustling of leaves in the breeze. Rem glanced toward a nearby bench and gestured toward it. Hey, want to sit for a bit? Tegan nodded, following them as they settled onto the bench, side by side. After a beat, Tegan turned to them, tilting her head. Okay, real talk. What were you actually thinking when you first saw me at the Pride Ball? Rem leaned back slightly, pretending to think. Probably something along the lines of, Damn, who's that? Tegan let out a laugh, nudging their arm. Oh my God, shut up. Rem grinned. What? It's the truth. You looked amazing. Tegan smirked. And now? Rem held Tegan's gaze, a playful glint in their eyes. Still stunning, just in better lighting. Something shifted between them then, an unspoken understanding, a deepening connection. Tegan hesitated for only a second before murmuring, Rem. Yeah, a breath. A moment. I really like this. Rem's heartbeat quickened. They took a slow breath, then gently reached for Tegan's hand, fingers barely brushing hers. Tegan didn't pull away. Instead, she intertwined their fingers, a small, contented smile curving her lips. I'd like to see where this goes, Rem admitted softly. Tegan's smile grew. Me too. And just like that, a second meeting turned into something more. Paris stepped onto the rooftop of the restaurant, her breath catching as she took in the view. A sea of lanterns bathed the tables in a golden glow, while the city lights stretched beyond the balcony, twinkling like fallen stars. It was romantic, dreamlike, and surprisingly intimate. Chase walked beside her, a smirk tugging at his lips as he pulled out her chair. Before Paris sat down, still admiring the setting, before turning to him with a teasing look. After all the hookups since the Pride Ball a few days ago, and after our, intense anime watching session today, you finally take me out on a romantic date, huh? She teased, a coy smile playing on her lips. You really outdid yourself with this. I'm mighty impressed. Chase chuckled, his eyes twinkling with mischief. Well, I figured you'd appreciate a view as breathtaking as you. Though, nothing here quite compares to the way your eyes light up when you're impressed. Paris felt warmth creep up her neck, but she refused to let him win so easily. Tilting her head, she flashed him a flirtatious smile. Smooth, Chase. Real smooth. And for that, you deserve a proper reward. Before he could respond, she leaned in and kissed him. The moment their lips met, something shifted. This wasn't just another fleeting moment, another playful exchange between them. This was something more. Her lips were warm, soft, teasing yet demanding. Chase could taste the sweetness of the night on her, the subtle hints of their dinner-to-be lingering between them. Her hands found their way to his face, her fingertips igniting tiny sparks against his skin. His heart pounded, an unfamiliar but welcome sensation washing over him. He'd kissed Paris before, but never like this. Never with this ache in his chest, this silent wish that the moment wouldn't end. When they finally pulled apart, catching their breath, Paris grinned. Totally worth it. Now shall we? They made their way to the table, settling into their seats under the glow of the lanterns. Chase leaned back, a casual smirk on his face as he observed her. You know, both my ex-boyfriend and my ex-girlfriend never really liked fancy dinners. It was always street food or takeout on the couch with them. He let out a small chuckle. Not that I mind a good burger run, but every now and then, I do enjoy a little candlelight, a stunning view and good company. Paris laughed softly, resting her chin on her hand. Lucky for you, I love fancy dinners, but only if they're done right. And you, Chase, definitely did this right. Chase raised a brow, feigning nonchalance. Oh, so I passed your standards, huh? Paris smirked, lifting her glass. A restaurant under the stars, city lights twinkling, the perfect ambience, not to mention my incredibly charming date. Chase leaned in slightly. Charming, huh? Careful. Paris, keep complimenting me like that, and I might just start believing it. She rolled her eyes, laughing. Oh, please. You know you're charming. He shrugged. I try. But let's be real. The way you've been looking at me all night, I must be doing something right. Paris narrowed her eyes playfully. Ha! Look at you, so confident. What if I told you I was just admiring the decor this whole time? Chase laughed, shaking his head. Oh, babe, if you think I believe that, you're underestimating me. I saw the way your eyes lingered on me earlier. The little smile you tried to hide when I pulled out your chair. Paris groaned, feigning exasperation. Ugh, fine. Maybe I was admiring you. Just a little. Don't let it go to your head, though. Too late. My ego just skyrocketed. She threw her head back, laughing. All right. Before you get too cocky, let's toast to this amazing date. She raised her glass, her gaze softening. To good food, good company, and a very confident date. Chase clinked his glass against hers, his voice dropping to a playful murmur. And to a gorgeous date who might just be falling for me. Paris shook her head amused as they both took a sip. The night stretched before them, full of laughter, teasing, and something neither of them dared to name just yet. The club pulsed with music, the deep bass thrumming through Kip's chest like a second heartbeat. The energy of the room was electric, bodies moving in sync under the flashing neon lights. But for him, there was only one person who mattered in the chaos, Hayes. They had met just days ago at the Pride Ball, but tonight, it felt as if they'd known each other forever. Their bodies moved instinctively together, very close to each other, laughter mingling with the beat as Kip dropped into a low, playful dance, grinning when Hayes matched his movements effortlessly. Kip had never met someone who could keep up with him on the dance floor quite like Hayes, and Hayes couldn't remember the last time he had this much fun with someone. Each brush of their hands, each exchanged glance, sent a spark through Kip's veins. Between teasing smirks and playful twirls, something simmered between them, electric, intoxicating, and impossible to ignore. This night wasn't just about dancing. It was about them. Kip twirled away before turning back to Hayes, breathless from the exhilaration. "I have to admit," he said, flashing a grin, "I don't think I've ever had this much fun in one night." Hayes smirked. "Oh, and here I thought you were the life of every party." Kip folded his arms, tilting his head. "I am, obviously. But this—" His eyes sparkled with mischief. "This is next level." Hayes let out a soft chuckle, his eyes glinting in the club's flashing lights. "So what you're saying is, I make everything better." Kip shrugged, feigning nonchalance, but there was no hiding the heat behind his gaze. "Exactly what I was thinking. Maybe we should make this a regular thing." Hayes stepped in closer, his voice dipping into something softer, something more intimate. "Oh, so you like having me around?" Kip arched a brow, tilting his head coyly. "You could say that, but I'm more of a show, don't tell kind of guy." Hayes' lips quirked at the corner. "Then show me." And Kip did. The moment their lips met, the world around them faded. The heavy bass, the flashing lights, the crowd, none of it existed. Only Hayes. Only this. His lips were soft yet insistent, igniting something deep in Hayes' chest, something warm and thrilling. It was intoxicating, overwhelming in the best way, like being set on fire and not wanting to put out the flames. He had kissed before, plenty of times, but never like this, never with this kind of electricity, this undeniable pull. Kip wasn't just a kiss. He was a spark, a dangerous, thrilling spark that made Hayes wonder if he'd ever be able to stop thinking about him after this night. Chapter 7. The next day was perfect for an adventure. Originally, the plan had been a road trip, the kind with the windows down, music blasting, and that carefree, cinematic energy. But in true last-minute chaos fashion, the group had a sudden change of heart. Why drive when they could take the train and let someone else do the work? And so, here they were, bags slung over their shoulders, tickets in hand, waiting for their ride to arrive. Their destination, a glamping site, one that promised all the fun of camping without the inconvenience of roughing it. No sleeping bags on the ground. No desperate attempts at starting a fire from scratch. Instead, they had pre-set-up tents, barbecue stations, a stocked food store, and most importantly, proper bathrooms. Luxury camping at its finest. For this group of friends, the trip wasn't about connecting with nature so much as it was about good food, great company, and making memories. It was a group date disguised as an outdoor retreat, a chance to unwind under the stars without the usual stress that came with traditional camping. As the distant rumble of the approaching train filled the air, anticipation buzzed between them. Their day-long escape was about to begin. Let the glamping adventure commence. The night air was crisp, carrying the smoky scent of grilled food and the soft murmur of laughter through the glamping site. A string of fairy lights cast a golden glow over the group, flickering against their champagne flutes and beer bottles as they lounged around the fire pit. Lacy took a sip of her drink, glancing around at the faces surrounding her. "Okay, so be honest," she said with a grin. "When we met at the Pride Ball, who actually thought we'd all get along this well?" Hayes took a slow sip, considering. Kip barely hesitated before chiming in, "You did?" Hayes nearly choked on his drink. "Wait, what?" Kip smirked. "For, 5 seconds. Then I realized you're just dramatic." Lacy burst into laughter. "Can confirm. He tripped later on at the Pride Ball and did a whole monologue about it." Hayes huffed, placing a hand over his chest. "I was in heels, okay." "I'm joking. I so wasn't in heels." He sent a playful wink toward the group, only for Suki to shake her head. And yet Lacy was in higher heels and didn't trip once. Across the fire, in the second half of the group, Rem raised an eyebrow. Okay, but who's the biggest flirt here? Tegan scoffed. Do we even need to guess? Chase. Paris nodded, pointing her drink at him. 100%. Chase could flirt with a lamp, and the lamp would blush. I have charisma, okay? Chase argued. Back on the other side, he snorted. You have chaotic bisexual energy, let's be real. Laughter erupted again, but Rem wasn't finished. All right, then who's the most dramatic? Kip didn't even hesitate. That's a tie between Hayes and Suki. Hayes gasped in offense. Excuse me. How dare you call me out like that? Suki added, just as offended. Chase grinned and gestured to them. Yeah, see? That's exactly why you won. The conversation flowed effortlessly, bouncing between jokes and playful jabs. Then Suki leaned forward, eyes twinkling with mischief. So, bets on which couple fights first? Oh, Rem and Tegan, Lacy said immediately. Hayes nodded. Yeah, we saw it earlier today. It'll start as a joke, then turn into a full roast battle. Kip grinned, lifting their cup with a playful glint in their eyes. And I'm recording it. Across the table, Rem leaned back with an air of confidence, their tone light but certain. Listen, I'm obviously the funniest one here. Tegan scoffed, shaking their head with a smirk. That's cute, because you steal my jokes. From the other side, Paris sighed dramatically. And there it is. Laughter rippled through the group as Rem feigned offense, raising their cup in mock surrender. Chase threw up his hands. Pay up, Hayes. I bet this would happen. With one final round of teasing, Hayes raised his glass. But hey, let's take a second to appreciate my brilliance for organizing this. Lacy arched a brow. Appreciate? Sure. Give you all the credit. I mean, Suki added, you had the idea, but we did the actual planning. Kip smirked. And by we, they mean Lacy and Suki, while I supervised with snacks. This slender, Hayes declared, dramatically placing a hand over his heart. I am the visionary. The group dissolved into another wave of laughter, the fire crackling beside them, the night filled with easy companionship, and the warmth of shared memories in the making. Rem lifted their cup with a grin. Okay, but can we also talk about how Paris almost devoured half the food before we even started? Paris took a sip of her drink, completely unbothered. A girl's gotta eat. Tegan pointed at her, amused. You were stealing bites off Chase's plate. Chase shook his head, feigning defeat. And what was I supposed to do? Fight for my life. Laughter rippled through the group. Hayes nearly choked on his drink from laughing so hard, while Kip and Lacy giggled, and Suki chuckled behind her cup. Honestly, this has been such a great night, Lacy said, warmth in her tone. I love getting to know everyone better, Suki agreed. Same. I fully approve of all the love pairings, Hayes added with an exaggerated nod. Kip smirked, stroking his lip in mock flirtation. Ah, we passed the Hayes relationship test. Tegan set her cup down. So next time, game night? Chase perked up instantly. Yes, but competitive mode. I want to see who's a sore loser. That would be Hayes, Paris said without hesitation. Before Hayes could protest, Rem's tone shifted. Hey, I don't want to dampen the mood, but do you all think that anonymous letter was just a prank? A hush fell over the group. I mean, probably. Right. Tegan's voice held uncertainty. Paris frowned. It's just the way it was written. Yeah, Chase muttered, shuddering. Super creepy vibes. Lacy clapped her hands together, determined to lighten the mood. Well, whatever happens, we'll handle it together. Hayes raised his cup with a confident grin. To good food, new friendships, and future dates. The group followed suit, lifting their glasses in unison. To good food, new friendships, and future dates, they all cheered, their voices overlapping in harmony. Even as they toasted, the thought of the anonymous letter lingered in the back of their minds, a quiet shadow against the warmth of the night. Lacy's heart was still light from last night's mini glamping date. The soft glow of lanterns, the crackling fire, and the kind of laughter that made the world feel warm and safe. It had been the perfect night. But today was a nightmare. After her seminar class, she'd gotten a text from Rem, urgent. They needed her, Chase, and Hayes to meet at the LGBTQIA plus society room. No explanation, just an urgency that sent a chill through her. And now, standing in the doorway of the room, her stomach twisted. The place was trashed. Papers ripped, posters torn down, furniture overturned. Whoever did this wasn't just being reckless. They were sending a message, and they all knew exactly who it was from. The same person who had sent that anonymous letter. And now, there was another one. Ram stood frozen, their hands trembling as they held up a single sheet of paper. Their voice wavered. It's in cut-out letters. They inhaled sharply, steadied themselves, then read the note aloud. Told you to watch your back. Lacy felt a chill run down her spine. Chase's fists clenched at his sides. Hayes looked pale. Okay, this just got way too real, Lacy murmured, her voice barely above a whisper. Who the hell keeps doing this? Hayes snapped, anger bubbling beneath his shaken expression. This has to be a hate target, Chase said, voice sharp. Why else would they go after the LGBTQIA plus society room? Rem exhaled slowly, their jaw tightening. They didn't just trash a room. They're trying to intimidate us. Lacy crossed her arms, defiant. Well, it's not going to work. Hayes nodded firmly. We need to report this to the university office. ASAP. Yeah, Chase agreed. But first, we take pictures of this. Then we clean it up. We're not letting them win by leaving it like this. He turned to Remington. We should also contact the rest of the LGBTQIA plus society members for help. Rem nodded. Agreed. We clean, we report, and we figure out who's behind this. A heavy silence settled between them. Whoever did this thought they could scare them. But they had no idea who they were messing with.